Oh, hi, it's David here, and I kind of just woke up a little while ago, and because I've been thinking about this. Okay, so I'm looking at why any author would give away a book, one of their books, for free. Why would you do this? Um, it seems contrary. You know, you spend a lot of time and effort putting a story together, only to give it away for free. Like, why would you do that? Doesn't that completely devalue the art, the craft that you're creating here? So I've been reading this. Okay, it's backwards, but Seth Godin's All Marketers Tell Stories, a great little book. Very easy to read if you're interested in these sorts of things. And he's specifically talking about the recording industry, which in many ways is similar to the publishing industry. And I'm just going to read you a few things out of his book here, so bear with me while we go through this. This is what he says about music. He says, "The recording industry is, on the whole, obtuse and reactionary and short-sighted, but they also don't pay a lot of attention to worldview. What sort of person uses Napster or LimeWire? It's the knee-jerk analysis done by those at the Recording Industries Association is to say people who don't want to pay for music use these things. The real answer is people with a worldview that says that music, and especially new music, is important to them." Okay, so that sounds a lot like the worldview of a typical record buyer and concert goer, doesn't it? So Wilco, the band Wilco, gets this. He says Wilco is a hugely successful rock band that released their latest album in its entirety online for free. Tim Manners reported that Wilco's Jeff Tweedy explained his view of the nexus of piracy and marketing as this. So I'll quote this from Jeff Tweedy. "A piece of art is not a loaf of bread. When someone steals a loaf of bread from the store, that's it, it's gone. The loaf of bread is over. When someone downloads a piece of music, it's only data until the listener puts that music back together with their own ears, their mind, their subjective experience. How they perceive your work changes your work. Treating your audience like thieves is absurd. Anyone who chooses to listen to our music is a collaborator." So this raises a couple of things for me. So in the context of writing books, the first is that you as the writer, as the author, your work is finished once you've put the seal on your manuscript and it's over and it's done. But the story isn't finished. It only finishes once the reader starts to read it and they recreate what you put down on paper into their own mental images. They are the ones that create, that finish the story that you created. And why is this so? This is so because each one of us readers is an individual. We have our own experiences. We bring our own biases to the story. And therefore, for each one of us, the story is just a little bit different. It might be about some alien contact, first contact, who knows? But each one of us is going to read it just a little bit differently. And that's what Seth Godin is getting at here. He says there's a huge difference between, quote unquote, stealing a loaf of bread, and once you eat it, it's gone, and, quote unquote, downloading someone's music or someone's book and consuming it. Because in the act of consuming, we're recreating a lot of the story and recreating the story for ourselves. And then what happens once we've read a book? We'll often talk about it with our friends or family and say, "Hey, check this out, it's a pretty good book, you might like it." We share it, we give it to others, we lend it out, all of those things that keep your product out there, that keep your art out there in front of people. So what does this all mean for writers and authors? What does this mean for us? If you're into the self-publishing world of writing your story, having a professional design a cover for it, getting some good editing on it, and then putting it out there into the world, the question for us then is, how much do we charge for our art? On Kindle, for example, $2.99 might be the Might be the lowest price that you can charge. Not everyone does. In the paper version of things, fiction tends to be generally a little bit less costly than nonfiction, but it's debatable. So maybe you charge $10 for your paperback, or $15 or whatever it might be, $2.99 for the e-version, and there you go. But is this the right way to do it? And then if someone finds a way to download your digital book without paying for it, what does that make them? So I think where I'm going with my own work these days is I did it the old way, which would be, here's my work, here's a price for it. If you want to pay the price, that's great, you'll enjoy the book, and so on and so forth. But now I'm starting to think, what I want to do is at least give some of it away for absolutely nothing. So this might be the first 5-6 chapters of a book. It might be the whole book itself, because the more interest I can generate in my stories, the more possibility there is that people will get to know my work, to get to know me as an author, and to share it, and to build an audience. And really that's what this is about. It's about building an audience for the work that we want to create. If there's no audience, it doesn't matter how good a writer you are, it's not going to sell, and you're not going to make a living at it. So ultimately, this is where I'm heading, and that's what I wanted to share with you, is this idea about putting our work out there for free, at least part of it, and at least part of the time, and seeing what happens. So stay tuned. I'm going to keep updating you on how things are going. I have a new book of mine in the Ross 128 trilogy that is going to be launched on March the 1st, 2019. So it's already up there on Kindle as an e-version for pre-order. But I'm also giving away the first few chapters free to anyone who wants to download them, so that they can get to know what I write, what my style is, and see if they like what I'm doing. If they're not, then they're not my audience. So that's what I'm also doing. But I think at some point along the way, I'll be offering this for free, maybe to beta readers or something like that as I get closer to launch, just to see what happens. So this will be fun. And whatever I do learn in the process, of course, I'll be sharing with you guys. So let's stay tuned for that. And if you have any ideas of your own, any comments on your own, just leave them here. And I'll try to answer as many of them as I can as we go along. Anyway, thanks. Get back to your writing. Let's have a good day.